Okay, my name is Pratik Mutha. I am a faculty member here in biological engineering. Uh, and just to emphasize on what Professor Jain has started, I'll just give you a little bit of a background on myself. And this perhaps will feed into this theme of how we are different from a lot of other institutions. So my undergraduate degree is actually electrical engineering. I then did a master's in bioengineering and a PhD in a related field. I teach neuroscience here. I have a PhD student from mechanical engineering. It is a complete hodgepodge, okay? And this kind of stuff is not possible anywhere else, okay? A number of you have been asking questions about older institutions, ICERs, things like that. Today, if you want to do good work, I think what matters is you have the breadth. What matters, I think, is you have the right training and the capability to learn new things. And that is what our curriculum here has been designed to facilitate. Okay, so I will actually go through quickly some of the facts, okay, about this institute, and then we'll have more question and answers. Professor Madhu is here with me. He's the Associate Dean of Student Affairs here at the institute. So we can offer answers to broad level questions that you might have. Professor Bharat, who is the JEE chairman, is also here. He can offer answers to any JEE specific questions, slide, float, freeze, all of that stuff, if you have any. And then we will bring some of my colleagues from different departments up on stage, and they will answer any department specific questions that you might have. Civil engineering में क्या होता है versus material science में क्या होता है versus computer science and blah blah. What is the difference between maths and computing and things like that? I know those questions are burning in your mind. So we'll have, that's sort of the plan until lunch. So I just wanted to give you that also. So I mean, you know that we are 11 years old. We are amongst the second generation IITs. We started with 90 students in 2008. And today, our numbers are about 1,600 students, 700 undergraduates, and about 900 masters and PhD students. And 6 BTech programs, a number of interdisciplinary centers that allow these things that I was talking about earlier, go from one department to another, students can work with faculty from different departments and things like that. The student profile is very interesting. So most of our students are actually from outside the state of Gujarat, 90%. All 29 states are represented amongst the student body. And this, you might stand up, you might say, okay, why am I telling you all this? It matters on a day-to-day basis, right? In the hostels, when you're in the hostels, you don't want to get trapped into any kind of linguistic bias, any kind of, regionalism or any kind of that kind of stuff. Right? So having a diverse student body is actually a matter of pride for us, so that you celebrate all festivals with equal fervor. You don't get, sucked into any kind of, biases with only having one group of friends and things like that. 34% female students. Again, this is important for parents, I think. It helps, of course, that Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar is a very, very safe area to live in. And those numbers, in the specific programs are up there. In the BTech students, I think last year we had about 15% female of the entire batch. This year we are expecting it to go up. More number of females have qualified the JEE, and there's the supernumerary, seats as well. So these are just, basic elementary facts, but what is more important is what we have done while developing these programs, right? And while developing these approaches. So here's some of the things that we have tried to focus on. We have said that we will focus on quality over quantity. If you look at our faculty numbers, for instance, we are close to 100 faculty, what are called career faculty, so people in more permanent positions in 10 years. Now, you might say that's slow, but I mean, and I agree it perhaps is slower than, what could be done in 10 years, right? But we've been very, very careful, and we've said that we will allow short-term pain for long-term gain, right? So the focus is really on building a long-term vision. Focus is on building quality, right? And there's been a lot of emphasis on that through different avenues. Students first was mentioned by Professor Jain as well. The fact that we are here for the students and not vice versa. We want to nurture students' aspirations. We are sensitive to students' needs. We care about their welfare. We really, really, really want them to have a good education and a good time while they're here. There's a number of opportunities that I'll talk about for undergraduate students that we have here as well. Students have tremendous freedom. Professor Jain mentioned about decision making and students being part of the decision making. But we also want students to be responsible. In fact, students are part of several committees that make decisions about students. So student leadership is phenomenally strong here. In fact, if you look at today's event, the organizers are primarily the students, and they said, we're going to take students, the parents on a campus tour, and this is the map. I said, I don't want to know. I know you will do a good job. I'm not worried about it. Okay? They said, oh, this is the route that we have mapped. I said, I don't care. Okay? This is up to you. I know you will do a good job. So we really, really emphasize student independence, student freedom, make students part of the decision making. The curriculum, and this is something that I can talk about in more detail later on as well, provides a lot of flexibility, tremendous flexibility. There's about, in the entire curriculum, 20% of the coursework is in the humanities and social sciences. There's compulsory courses on biology. There's compulsory courses on design and innovation. There are a lot of electives, both on the basic science side as well as what we call open electives. So students can choose what they want to study in those slots. There's things like the foundation program. Students can do majors, minors, dual degrees, dual majors, all of that, right? So there was a question earlier about doing 2 BTechs. So you can actually spend an extra year and get a second BTech degree from the institute here. Okay, so some of you had a bad day on the JEE advanced, time, solved a few problems wrong, your rank dropped, and now you are in material science when you really, really, really wanted to study mechanical engineering. Okay, there is an opportunity here. Stay an extra year, take the courses that mechanical engineering has specified you should take to get that second degree, and you'll get 2 papers at the end of it. Okay, and you use whichever one you want to use. In fact, currently we have 6 students who are in that dual major program. All 6 are doing their second degree in computer science. So people who are worried about computer science. These are people in chemical engineering, these are people in mechanical engineering, these are people in electrical engineering, students, okay? So there's a lot of that there. What we have also done is created a dual degree program. Now this is not at the time of the intake. So you don't specify in your JEE choices that I want to join a dual degree program at IIT Gandhinagar. You say after 4 semesters of coming in, you say, okay, I'm interested in getting a master's degree. You stay an extra year, again, take the advanced courses, do research, and you get a master's degree. There are 2 combinations in this. You could do a BTech and an MTech, or you could do an BTech and an MSc, okay? So this is an interesting combination. If you're really passionate about the basic sciences, again, the person who asked about the ICERs, for instance, if your child is really passionate about physics or chemistry, let them take chemistry or physics courses in those open elective slots while they are here in the BTech program, take a few more courses, do the research, and get an MSc degree, and perhaps then pursue a PhD later on in that area. So there's a lot of those weird combinations that we have here that all facilitate actually what the students want to do, right? If a student wants to make a choice to study biology, it's there, right? So you can take extra courses in biology, get a minor with a major in electrical engineering. And we have students doing that. Okay, there's a minor in design, if you're really passionate about that. There's a minor in data sciences. There's a minor in sustainability. There's, of course, minors in the traditional disciplines as well. This requires you to do 5 extra courses and you get a minor. Okay, so a lot of those kinds of options are prevalent here. The program emphasizes overall development. We want to create good engineers, but we also want to create good people. Okay, and that is what we have emphasized throughout the curriculum. That's the whole point of having these choices. That's the whole point of giving this flexibility to students. And this, starts with the foundation program. I'll tell you a little bit about the foundation program. Again, it was mentioned earlier. The Explorers Fellowship is, again, a fantastic opportunity that students have here. You can talk to some of these volunteers. They've gone on the Explorers Fellowship, and I'll tell you a little bit about that as well. International experience, 40 to 45% of all undergraduates at the institute at some point travel abroad for doing research work. Okay, they go to universities around the world, spend a summer, learn from top scientists, learn in the best environments that they can learn from. Okay, so those opportunities are there, completely funded by philanthropic funds. Students actually pay no money. Okay, these are run through scholarships, and then if needed, students can apply for extra money from the institute. Okay, facilities are excellent. I hope you got a sense of that when you walked around. It's very clean, very hygienic food, and I'll emphasize that later on as well. Air-conditioned hostels. I mean, we know Gujarat is hot. We care about student welfare. We care about student well-being. We want students to sleep well so that they can work hard during the day in the classes, right? And so we've air-conditioned all our hostels. The new set of hostels will actually be centrally air-conditioned. And outcomes, lots of startups coming out. If you look at the 2018 batch that graduated, about 27% of that entire class went for higher studies. Again, it's a very high number. Number of them have gone into jobs. If you ask me the placement numbers, about 80% of the students get placed, and that's pretty good. Okay, if you're in the bottom 20%, anywhere, you could be, JEE rank, whatever. But if you fall in the bottom 20%, even if it is computer science, okay, it's not going to help, right? So if you work hard, you're going to get a good job. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, so foundation program. So every single undergraduate student who comes into the institute goes through this program. There's no choice. There is a grade associated with this. There's credits associated with this. So you can't escape it, right? What is this program? Again, this was emphasized early on that we want people to have the right skills, okay? We want people not just to be, technicians, right? Get an engineering education and nothing else, and that's actually problematic, right? If there are engineer parents in the audience, right, and I ask you, what do you remember from your solid mechanics class when you took it, when you were studying? The answer is going to be probably not much, right? So what matters more as you go up is what your breadth is, right? And so we want to do that right as students come in. So this is a 5-week program. For the 5 weeks, for the first 5 weeks, students take absolutely no classes. And instead, they're doing workshops, they're doing activities, they're listening to eminent people. And these are sort of centered around 5 themes. Creativity. You've gone through the JEE. Some of you may have taken coaching for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. Some of you may have started preparing for it from like grade 1 or something, I don't know. But you've closed your minds, right? Let's accept that. Let's accept that. I could ask, what was the last movie, okay, you saw when you were in your JEE class? How many of you actually saw, a movie that released 3-4 months ago? I mean, a few. Most of you didn't, right? Why? Because you were just so focused on your exam. The idea through this program is to actually broaden your minds a little bit, okay? So do some sketching, do some paintings, do some dance, okay? All that is built into this, in this creativity segment, okay? There's emphasis on ethics, okay? In India, ethics really is a problem, okay? But we want students to be sensitive to these matters, right? We want students to have an ethical grounding in whatever they do. Physical fitness, we will make you run at 6 in the morning on the sports fields. Okay, the faculty who coordinate the program, they are there, the sports instructor is there, and you can't escape it. Okay, we'll make you run in the evening, we'll make you play sports. Okay, why are we doing these things, right? We believe it is important, yes, but it also brings your entire batch together, right? It helps you make friends. The bonds that you form in this foundation program in the first 5 weeks stay forever, okay? it also helps break down any socioeconomic barriers that there might be. I mean, somebody's come from a rich family, somebody's come from a, not so rich family, okay? But once you are in this big soup altogether and we are stirring it, right, it doesn't matter, right? So it breaks down those walls. Very, very useful. Social engagement, you'll be asked to go clean the railway station, okay? Your entire batch, not one person, okay? And there's nothing to be ashamed of in there. Right? We want you to be aware of the problems that exist in the country, okay? Filth is a problem, okay? And the idea is if you participate, if you're made more aware of it, maybe you can think of solutions to them, right? Okay, the Explorers Fellowship, again, this is something that excites potential students quite a bit. This is a 6-week-long travel program, okay? We give you some money, very little, okay? Enough to get you by, okay? And we say, go and travel for 6 weeks, okay? The only conditions we put are, you cannot travel by air, you cannot travel by AC train, okay? You must travel sleeper class. You cannot stay in air-conditioned hotels, and the money simply is not there, okay? You just don't have that much money to splurge. And then we say you must cover at least 6 states in these 6 weeks. So one in the north, one in the south, one in the northeast, and things like that. And people come back transformed. Our students come back transformed, right? We've had students who tried to sleep in an ATM because they had air conditioning. We had students who tried to sleep on railway platforms but were thrown out. The experiences that students get from this are actually life-changing, okay? The idea is, you want to sit in air-conditioned auditoriums like this and think about solutions. Fine, you can do that. But when you actually go out and experience the problems yourself, okay, you can think of solutions that are perhaps better, okay? So that's the idea with this program. It has really changed. These 2 programs, the Foundation Program and the Explorer Fellowship, have actually changed students' lives. Faculty, again, I told you we are very selective, very, very selective. Very diverse faculty group. We actually celebrate people like me who have weird trajectories. A large number of our students do projects outside their disciplines. If you look at the PhD student body, for instance, 15% of the PhD students have their supervisor from outside the department, okay, that they are in. So a lot of that flexibility is there. We have a very vibrant visiting faculty program. So again, 15% of our faculty at any time are visiting from abroad. They come, students get to learn from them. They bring the best practices from their institutes here. Students talk to them. And there's that nice global culture that starts to emerge as a consequence. If you look at our faculty profile, 60% or so of our faculty have PhDs from overseas institutions. 80% have at least 1 year of overseas experience, if not the doctoral degree, postdoctoral experience. And this, is just an example mechanical engineering faculty profile here. Look at where they've received their PhDs from. These are the best institutions in the world, right? There's simply no competition to this, okay? This is what we've been able to do because we've been careful, we've been selective, and we've been patient, okay? We've really focused on building a long-term vision rather than saying, oh, we've got to teach manufacturing, so let us recruit somebody who can teach manufacturing very quickly, even if that means compromising on our standards. We have stayed away from that kind of nonsense. Again, internationalization, you've heard about this, 40% undergraduate. If you look at the PhD student numbers, it hits about 80%. Again, very strong emphasis on this. This is another program that we've launched here that is trying to push a culture of making and tinkering on campus. Okay, this in fact is going on right now. If there's some time at the end, maybe you can just walk by this program right now. This is called Invent at IIT Gandhinagar. 20 students, last year it was 20, this time it's 30, from different IITs. So this is not just an IIT Gandhinagar program, but this is selective. So students apply from all IITs, we select them, and they go through this 6-week program at the end of which a US patent is filed, okay? And it has never happened in this program that a patent has not been filed, okay? This is very intense. It's run primarily by 2 faculty who come from the US and teach it here. I mean, their pictures are here. They come from this institute called the Cooper Union, which is based in New York. Okay? We have a 24/7 Tinkerers Lab. Students are free to use the equipment. This is actually entirely student managed. Okay? Students have figured out equipment usage rules. Students have figured out safety rules. Students have figured out how to schedule jobs on this and things like that. And really, faculty, if you ask faculty how this is run, we perhaps don't know. Okay? Most of us would not know. But this is an entirely student-run initiative, again, trying to push a culture of learning by doing active learning. That's a shift in pedagogy that we are actually emphasizing here. We, in fact, are setting up something called a Maker Bhavan. This is a $1 million gift that we have received from actually an IIT Bombay alumnus who gave money here to set this up. Okay, Maker Bhavan, promote a culture of active learning, learning by doing, throughout the institute. You could be a humanities student here, okay? But we want you to actually do stuff and learn by doing stuff, okay? So that's the new pedagogy that we are trying to push. Students first, I think this has been emphasized enough. Let me skip this. Financial aid. So we've taken a position that no student should face any kind of hindrance in their education because of financial matters. Right? So there's extremely liberal financial aid. Madhu will tell you more about the kinds of scholarships that we offer. And these scholarships cover, if you need a means, just messing facilities, for instance. They'll cover that and go all the way up to, paying for your international travel when you go for these foreign internships. Okay, so we are happy to take questions on this later on. But again, the philosophy is that if people want to get a good education, they should be able to, regardless of what their financial condition is. This is something that is very new, merit scholarships, okay? If you have a JEE rank of less than 1,000, okay, we will give you a scholarship of 2 lakh rupees per year for the entire 4 years that you will be here, okay? For JEE rankers less than 1,000, this is what it is. Or if you have represented in India in any of the recognized Olympiads. So even if your JEE rank is above 1,000. Okay, so it's an or condition. Okay, so either JEE rank 1,000 or less, or 1,000 or better, I should say, or represented in India in any of the Olympiads. Okay, 2 lakh rupees per year is basically your entire tuition fee for that year. Right? So this is equivalent to getting free tuition, okay, for all 4 years, okay, of your stay here. You don't pay a single rupee. It's tuition fees. You pay mess and all that. Okay, that's nominal. Okay, but this is a huge deal. Okay, no other institution is doing this. Okay, but we want to do it here. Okay, there's other scholarships for class toppers. There's scholarships for people who are doing well in sports, students who are doing well in arts and culture and things like that. Okay, hostels, you perhaps walk by them, central air conditioning in all rooms. Hygiene has been extremely important to us. We recently got this Eat Right Campus Award. We are the only academic institution to have received a 5-star rating from FSSAI, okay, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Okay, what this means is we have to satisfy certain requirements that they set. This is like a ratings body, right? They say how clean is your cooking facility. How are you disposing of your waste? How are you disposing of the used oil? Okay, and there's standards that are set for that. We have to check the right boxes. We have to ensure compliance, not just in the mess, okay, the student dining hall, but every single eatery that's on campus. Okay, and we are the only academic institution in India to have done that. Okay, so again, why? Because we don't want students falling sick. Mess food, anywhere you go, anybody who you talk to, they will tell you is terrible. Okay, you talk to our students. When we do open houses with the students, they will say, oh, itna humanities kyun padhate and things like that. Not one complains about food. Okay, not one. Okay, I mean, it's a good thing, right? Again, it matters on a day-to-day basis. right? There's laundry, there's housekeeping, all of that, of course, is there, right? Here's the, this Eat Right Campus Award. Students can choose what dining hall they want to go to. We have two. This is a sample breakfast menu, okay? Faculty have no say in this. Students decide what they want to eat. They keep rotating this. They keep churning this around. They make different combinations. They'll include seasonal items. They'll remove, things that are not in season and things like that. And it's pretty nutritious. A lot of faculty, by the way, eat there. I eat there all the time. I make my kids eat there all the time. Okay, it's really, really healthy. Lots of good, medical support in case it's needed. There's a 24/7 ambulance. We have tie-ups with hospitals. There's a cashless system in case of your admission to the hospital and things like that. The on-campus medical facility is also great. Treats students free of cost. There's a physiotherapy clinic on campus. Students, if we want students to play sports, students are going to get injured. Some of them may get injured. So there's a physical therapy sort of clinic to take care of that. And other tie-ups with local hospitals are there. Accessibility, I don't want to, emphasize this. You've made it here. You know how accessible it is. Zero ragging, zero harassment. There's absolutely no tolerance for this at all, okay? And when I say zero tolerance, I mean zero tolerance. If a student is caught harassing somebody or ragging somebody, they are simply kicked out. Okay? There's absolutely no case of this. Okay? We are very, very, very serious about this. And the important thing is that when that decision is made, the student leadership is part of that decision. Okay? So it's not that we are imposing something that students don't want. Students themselves are saying, okay, this is a reasonable sanction for somebody who's crossed the line. Okay? So that student governance and student involvement in these kinds of decisions is very, very crucial to us, and we've done that. Branch change, so these are the statistics from the last 4 years. Anybody who has a CPI of 6.5 and over at the end of the first year and has no fail grade, okay, in anything, physical education for instance, can apply. Most people who apply get it. Okay? I mean, you basically have to be doing well to not get a branch change. Of course, there's norms about how many seats we want to move and things like that. Okay? A very strong career development service to help with placements, internships, and things like that. When I say that 40% of our students go abroad for internships, these students are not writing emails to professors abroad saying, I want to come and work with you. Okay? These are institutional arrangements that are facilitated through our career development service. And some numbers are there. 2018 batch numbers are there. 121 companies came, 29% students went for higher studies, and 47% had international exposure. A number of startups, 35 startups have come from 50 alumni. Some of them have gone on to get accelerator funding, Y Combinator and things like that. There's mentor networks that we have here because Ahmedabad does have some startup culture. The business community is very strong, and they come and interact with our students. They come and mentor some of our students and things like that. We are building a research park on campus. In fact, the operations of the research park have already started. There's a number of companies who have set up their R&D cells here. And the way it works is very interesting. These companies are supposed to work with our faculty. They're not there just, to pay rent and get office space. They have to work with our faculty. They have to sponsor projects. They have to mentor students and things like that. So very healthy arrangement between the companies in the research park and the actual academic curriculum and academic structure. If all this is being done for the students, how committed are the students when they graduate? Okay? And this is an indicator that Prof. Jain was also mentioning. How happy are our alumni? Okay? And I'm very happy to say that we have an extremely engaged alumni body. They come, they interact with our students, especially on the startup sort of phenomenon. They come, they'll teach a short course over a weekend. They'll come, they'll provide advice on career opportunities. They will talk about higher education opportunities and things like that. And they donate money. right? So again, 27% of the alumni, we are only 1,300 students or so have graduated. But if you say out of that, close to 30% have made a donation, whatever the amount, that's pretty significant. Okay, in fact, it's larger than a lot of public universities, even in the United States. Okay, public universities. So, the alumni remain committed to the institute even after they graduate. There's other opportunities for learning that students have. The Center for Creative Learning, Manish was here. Manish Jain leads this. You should go to their Facebook page, like it, and see what they do. Okay, this is phenomenal. I mean, the idea is to make science and maths learning fun and inspiring for students of all ages. Okay, they work with high school students, they work with college students, they work with our own students here, they sponsor projects for master's students, and they work with teachers. So they cover the whole spectrum. And the idea is to make, to help people understand, help students understand concepts in maths and science through making, again, through toys, through robotic devices, and, those things. So you can also visit their lab here in case, again, there's more time. You can, I'll get in touch with Manish. He was here, in fact, he was sitting there. And you can visit and see what they do. Lots of opportunities for social engagement as well. Students run a school, like a mini school for the children of construction workers on campus. So we have a lot of construction going on. If you walked around, you saw a lot of blue barricades, perhaps. A lot of new infrastructure is coming up. A huge sports complex is coming up with an Olympic-sized swimming pool, squash courts, badminton courts, a rock climbing wall. All of that stuff is coming. A central arcade is coming with, shops, restaurants. More academic space is coming, more housing is coming, more hostels are coming. So there's a lot of construction, which means there's a lot of construction workers on campus. Their kids, instead of just playing out in the dirt all day in the hot sun, the students have set up a school called Nyasa. And in fact, this has now become a big movement. They provide midday meals, they celebrate festivals, they'll celebrate the kids' birthdays and all of that stuff. So lots of volunteer type opportunities. Again, there's another program that we call NEEV. This NEEV is a program that is aimed at skilling youth from around from the villages that are around the campus. So again, students sort of offered their time there. There's an organic farm. If there's a student who has received a sanction, we expect that student to do some social work hours, so they'll often go work on the organic farm, do some farming. Very, very nice. So, okay, so, the campus, again, let me not get into too much of this, but because you've already sort of walked around and got a feel of it. So that's it. I mean, that's who we are. I hope you got a sense that we are very different. I didn't mention mechanical engineering too much. I didn't mention civil engineering too much. The idea is not that. The idea is to create good, well-rounded human beings who also happen to be good engineers. Okay, so thank you. I'll leave you with some pictures of the campus. This is what it looks like in the monsoon. There is zero Photoshop in this. Okay, there's no Photoshop. This is what it actually looks like. The Sabarmati River and the campus on the banks of the river. Again, some nice shots. You walked under this. This is another auditorium that we have. Hostel space. This is called Panchayat Circle. I like this name. This is where students hang out at night. It's actually not a circle. It's a semicircle, but it's called Panchayat Circle. More hostel views. This is faculty and staff housing. Very green, very, very nice and comfortable. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope this was useful.